So we are so close to the Mbeumo deal being done, with reports coming out from credible sources earlier. There has been an agreement. He's now waiting for his medical, as we covered in my live shows earlier today. But we've now got information coming out about why Mbeumo chose Manchester United over other clubs that were in for him, including Newcastle with Champions League, including Arsenal, including Tottenham, where Thomas Frank is at. What made him choose Manchester United is quite interesting. We're going to talk about Gyokeres. Now, apparently, Gyokeres has had a change of mind and wants Manchester United move now. Is that because Arsenal look like they're closing in on Sesko? Is it made up news? Is it nonsense news? What is the latest on Gyokeres? Because he's who we're going to go for after Mbeumo, and the Mbeumo deal looks pretty much like it's going to be wrapped up very, very soon. We've got updates on Marcus Rashford. Barcelona are indeed in talks with Marcus Rashford, but they want to do a loan deal where we pay some of his wages, which is ridiculous. That's not going to happen. If you're going to do a loan deal, at least pay all of his wages and include an obligation to buy. I do not want to be mugged off. I think Rashford will go to Barcelona. I think he will probably go on loan. But make sure there's an option or obligation to buy and make sure all the wages are covered. We're going to give the latest on Sancho as well. Fenerbahce, Napoli, Juventus, and for Sancho, like 3 clubs in. What is the likelihood of him going? What's the situation? What's the latest on that? So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup. I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news that's relevant, that's come out in the last few hours, into a 10-minute video for you guys. So if you want to stay up to date on all the latest United news, feel free to subscribe, because I will be doing this most evenings throughout the transfer window. I'm going to start with Mbeumo. Now, obviously, if you watched my live stream earlier, you'll see that Sully reported that Man United and Brentford had reached an agreement. Not long later, Ben Jacobs said this: Manchester United are closing in on Bryan Mbeumo. Add-ons are being finalised with a total package exceeding 60 million. Mbeumo is waiting for permission to go undergo a medical. So Man United and Brentford agreed on the fee. I think they're just reviewing the contracts, making sure, just checking the final details, and then Mbeumo should be released to have his Manchester United medical. And once he has his medical, the deal will be done. Now, there's been a lot of false reporting in regards to Mbeumo and Manchester United. There was reports coming out, when he chose Manchester United, from journalists that are Newcastle-based and other club-based, that he was going for 250k a week and the wages. In fact, more recent sources have said he's going to be getting that 150k a week. So that's 100 grand less. It's not even like you're 5 grand off, you're 100 grand off. It's almost as if the 250 grand a week in Mbeumo story was made up. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? Anyway, but why did he choose Manchester United? Because if we were offering him similar wages to other clubs, why did he choose us? Well, this is why. Solly said this: let it be known that money was not the deciding factor in Bryan Mbeumo's decision to join Manchester United, but rather the sporting project presented to him. Him and Ruben had several calls. Spurs tried to convince him, but he only wanted United. Don't believe everything you read online. We convinced Cunha. I think Cunha was always going to be easy to convince because of his love for United. We couldn't convince Delat, but the big one was we convinced Mbeumo. Now, I think him being a Manchester United fan, I think family being a Manchester United fan obviously helped, but I do think with Ruben Amorim, he can say, look, my system, 3 at the back, you've played similar at Brentford, this is your role in my system, you've done well at Brentford, I'm going to utilise you in your best role. He can say, look what I did with Sporting when I got the blah, blah, blah. And I also think Spurs are only in the Champions League because they beat us in the final and a one-off game. I think next season we'll finish above Spurs in the Premier League. And look, I think Thomas Frank's an incredible manager. I think he's going to do a good job at Spurs. But realistically, there's more. Man United always spend bad and we never are, but there's realistically more chance of United, in the next 10 years having more chance than Spurs in the next 10 years. I'm not saying that is the case. I think Spurs have got a great manager, some great young players, but got some weird pop up on my computer, but there's more expectation around Manchester United. In the last 10 years, we've won Europa League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup. Spurs are in the Champions League. They've won the Europa League. I think Thomas Frank's a great manager. I think he could have great success, and I could be wrong. I think he's a better manager than Amorim. I believe that strongly. But I feel like Manchester United's a club where there's more success expected. And maybe that's why. I think Arsenal could have potentially gone there, but I guess he didn't want to be back up to Saka. And Newcastle, I guess... I'm surprised he didn't go to Newcastle, because I think that would have been a really good move for him. But I guess Man United is bigger club. And maybe Newcastle can't quite offer the wages we could as well. But talking of Mbeumo, he got his goals and assists got Brentford 22 points in the Premier League last season. If we'd have got 22 more points, we would have been where Nottingham Forest were. He was very important to Brentford with his goals, with his assists, and Cunha as well for Wolves. So 2 players that bring goals and assists is key. So where's next after Mbeumo? So Paul Hurst, who's a decent source of information, said that United are looking for a striker, wing-back, midfielder, and goalkeeper, but filling all the gaps depends on offloading unwanted players. Now I've been saying this throughout the last few weeks. I said after Mbeumo, we want a striker, we want a midfielder, we want a wing-back, and we want a goalkeeper, but it depends on exits. The most likely scenario is a striker. I think we will get a striker before anything. A goalkeeper depends on the goalkeeping exit specifically. It could be a better replacement for Bayindir to push Onana because Onana staying looks likely. A wing-back really depends on the exits. Midfielders wanted. I think striker and midfielder are the two that I think will, if we sell Garnacho and we sell Rashford and we sell Antony and Sancho, that's where the funds is going to go. If there is potentially funds, we look at wing-backs. We've missed out on Aït-Nouri and Kirk as 2 good options in the market. I think goalkeeper depends on who goes in goal. Striker, I think, will be sorted. I think we will sell Garnacho, and midfield depends on sales. And I think wing-back is the one that could be left, with Ahmad potentially being a wing-back. But I still think we need a wing-back. So that is United's plan. So who could the striker target be? Well, breaking news is coming out from Team Talk, so do take with a pinch of salt, that Victor Gyokeres has told Manchester United he wants to join them this summer despite interest from elsewhere. Now, we know from top-tier sources, credible journalists, that his preference is Arsenal. Victor Gyokeres told Manchester United he likes the idea of joining, but his number one choice would be Arsenal. He's not rejecting us. He's always said he's open to United, but he's waiting for Arsenal. United are seen to be okay with that. I guess Yoro did wait for Madrid. Now reports are coming out that Victor Gyokeres has told United he wants to join them this summer. I think he's told United, if Arsenal don't get me, I want to join. But if Arsenal do get him, I don't think, if Arsenal do go in and agree something with Sporting, he's not going to say no, he wants that Arsenal move. Now, in regards to Victor Gyokeres, I do think, considering a lot of media and mainstream media and credible sources keep saying things along the lines of actually Sesko's the first choice target, Sesko's the preferred target, I do think Gyokeres is obviously, of course, keeping his options open because of that. I think this could be either 1, just fake news, or 2, Gyokeres has got a strong feeling that it's going to be Sesko and not him. And the media is sort of leaning towards a little bit more Sesko. So maybe that's the situation. Now, Laurie Whitwell went on Stretford Paddock today, and he gave quite a big update in regards to everything. I mean, he talks about so much, Laurie Whitwell. So honestly, go watch the Stretford Paddock video because there was so much detail about so many things and Mbeumo, everything. One of the best journalists in the United space. But in regards to strikers and striker signings, he said that amorim is definitely interested in Gyokeres. We're looking at different types of strikers. Ekitike is one we're looking at, but it's different. He said because we've got Cunha and we should get Mbeumo, Man United will be a bit more comfortable in terms of goal scoring. So when we go to other teams to negotiate, we go to, let's say, Frankfurt, and we say we want Ekitike, and they ask for 85 million, we'll say, well, look, we've got Mbeumo, we've got Cunha, we've got 2 goal scorers now. So United might say, we've got 2 goal scorers now, the need for a striker is less, we'll give you 60 million, not 85. We've got 2 scorers now. And I guess it gives United a better position for leveraging, because while I still think we need a striker on top of Mbeumo and Cunha, I think you can almost, prioritise midfielders the next position. After Mbeumo, we can go look at midfielders. If the striker market is not good, we can go look at midfielders, we can go look at goalkeepers, we can go look at wing-backs. Because I think the striker we get isn't as key now. We needed a good striker. And I always said, if we'd assigned Dibbling and got Delap, I'd have been underwhelmed. But if we'd assigned Cunha and Mbeumo and got Delap, I would have been happy because we've got a 30 million player, but we've got 2 proven Premier League scorers around him, so it takes the pressure off. So I feel like the need for a striker, we have to sign someone at striker, but it is less. In regards to Marcus Rashford and his potential exit, Rob Dawson said that Barcelona have asked for details on Rashford's situation, but again indicated their preference would be to do a loan deal. United have had a few conversations in regards to Rashford, Barcelona, things are ongoing, loan looks most likely, United want a permanent. I think this could drag on. In regards to Sancho, the United Muppeteers, good YouTube channel, go check them out, basically said that their understanding is they think that Sancho would prefer Napoli or Juventus over Fenerbahce, but Fenerbahce are really pushing. Obviously, the talks with Mourinho has been reported by other sources. The last 24 hours, Fenerbahce are really pushing, and Fenerbahce right now are offering Sancho the best package. Is Sancho using that package he's being offered from Fenerbahce to try and get a better package out of Napoli and Juventus? That's a strong possibility, potentially. But Fenerbahce are there, they're offering the best package. He's open to the move. They're giving him the financial package he'd like. But I think Sancho, what he's trying to do, and the Muppeteer said this as well, is maybe use Fenerbahce to get a better package out of Napoli, to get a better package out of Juventus. Sancho, he wants the best wage package he can get. Anyway, people, and that is your Manchester United news rounded up in 10 minutes. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully we get the Mbeumo Here We Go tomorrow. I think it could happen. I think it's very close. See you next time, and bye.